Hey Gerald, how are you?
Back to Zoom. Good to see
There
good
we
to see you,
are.
sir. How are you?
I'm great. And yourself?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Well, I want to thank you for joining us, and I want to congratulate you on being recognized as our Patient of the Month. The work you've done in focusing on your care, getting making your appointments, doing the homework, sharing your experience with others. Those are really the things that we really appreciate and we love. And, the team just thought you were a perfect example for it.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Do you know how long you've been under care here in the office?
I met with you for the first time near the end of August, I believe.
So it's been about 5 months.
Right.
And what was going on that drew you to our office, or how did you hear about us, and what made you connect with us?
My low back was giving me some real serious trouble. It was keeping me from moving the way I like to move. It was really impeding my life.
What sort of things
That
in your life was it impeding on?
Oh, well, I mean, it was so bad at this point in time that like getting in and out of the car was an event. So like I had to figure out, how am I going to get into my car? How am I going to get out of my car? So, and this is something that is not completely unfamiliar to me, but I hadn't dealt with anything like that level of discomfort and pain in years.
And so, having had the challenges since back into your 20s, you focused on posture and biomechanics as an important part of your life in managing how you work, and help. You've even gotten into helping others with it.
Yeah. I'm a Feldenkrais practitioner, and it's I love the work, and I feel like the thing that drew me to it most clearly was that there were a series of exercises that I could go, oh, I feel this is starting to tighten. I feel like this is going to cause me trouble if I don't do something. And then I had a series of floor exercises that I could do that would help me. But one of the first conversations that I had with you that I remember is that you were saying that a lot of people who do a lot of, thoughtful self-care can get themselves into a situation where the misalignment of the spine is more pronounced than it would normally be for the amount of discomfort that one is feeling. And that kind of struck home for me, because there were two. I mean, well, there was of course the first x-ray that you took where my cervical spine looked like a stairway going forward. But even before that, I do some things in performing arts, both teaching and performing, and I was involved in a cabaret back in July of the summer. Anyways, when I saw somebody took a video of the performance, and when I watched the video, I was struck by how far forward my head was going while performing, and it made me look older and it made me feel older.
What was your first impression when you came into our office about what we do or how we do things?
Well, I think that you have really lovely and professional group of people working with you and around you, and so the office atmosphere is very pleasant. My first impression when I first went in there, because there's a lot of things that are sort of like, hey, here's the room where it happens. And so my first impression was, oh, I'm not entirely sure how this is going to work, but it took like one visit, maybe two visits if you're slow, to go, oh yeah, no, this is great. I come in, I do this, I go there. So, kudos to you. The mechanics of it are impressive.
Well, thank you. It takes a lot of work, not just for me, but for the entire team. And it's awesome when our team is fully focused and engaged moving forward. How would you say that the care that you received here has been?
Oh, I think that I've received excellent care. And the thing that, Dr. Gregg, the thing that's new for me that is sort of a continuing adventure is that in my life, and I think this is true for most people, in the past, if I went to go see a professional because my low back hurt so badly I was having trouble getting in and out of my car, I would tend to stop that treatment when my low back didn't hurt anymore. And so the thing that's been interesting for me is that I feel great today. And I saw you earlier today, and I felt better when I left than when I got there. But um, you approach chiropractic work in a way that have not been introduced to before I met you, where you're not just treating symptoms of pain, you're changing how people move in space. And I'm interested, I'm already delighted with what I've gotten so far. And I'm like, what, 14% improvement since I met you? There's just this lovely ongoing possibilities and positive changes.
What would you recommend to someone who maybe before they're having difficulty with getting out of the car, because the person having difficulty getting out of the car knows they need to come in, but the precursors to it, what would you tell them to do? Or maybe even your 20-year-old self to do when you had that first episode?
That's a good question. And we live in a world where we don't really expect people to listen to us. So I don't formulate it that often, but it's worth the investment in time. I mean, you can study science and you can see, hey, here's your brain. This is how your brain connects to your body. And so the stuff that you're talking about does not sound like mumbo jumbo to me. It's like if there's an impingement on nerves, the actual communication is off. One of the things that I find most interesting about this process since I've been working with you is that I think that I'm experiencing improvements in areas of my life that I expected my low back to feel better. When I went to see you, you came highly recommended. I expected, I'm going to go do this. I'm going to take care of this. My low back is going to feel better. I think I'm sleeping better. I think I feel like my head is over my body, and so I move differently. I move faster. I'm lighter. I run up and down stairs, and it's I don't want to like tip over to the point where it starts to sound like miracle snake oil, but the things that can be improved by not being all crinkled up and compressed is kind of a lovely thing to explore.
Super cool. Thank you so much. Yeah. What else would you want to say, if anything, to share with people out there about what you've experienced within our office and the process of helping to begin remodeling your spine?
There were certain things. So for instance, like the first time that you took me over to the traction table, and it has a vaguely medieval feel to it. And so there was a part of me that was like, okay, I'm not sure about this. And I think that it is helping me to make some really significant changes in my posture and in how I hold my body in space. And so and it went from being something that I was ever so slightly nervous about. It's like, we're going to put this around your neck and we're going to lift it up. And it's sort of like, okay, I've never done that. What's that like? But now it's familiar, and it's not only familiar, we were speaking earlier today, you can get into this place where when I stand up from the table, I just sort of feel like, oh yeah, I'm in more agreement with gravity than I was before that. And it's not painful. And so give it a try. That's my advice.
I love it. Thank you so much for joining me on this and for participating in your care and being a part of our practice. I appreciate you.
Greatly appreciate your saying so. Thank you.